Hey, hope you guys are doing well. Want to do a video here on Snapchat. So this is going to be ticker symbol SNAP, Snap, and currently up on the screen we have the weekly charts. This dates all the way back to when Snap IPO'd back in 2017. So really its entire trading history. And you can see we have this week currently a pretty big move to the upside. Now this is coming from Snapchat's earnings. They were up about 44% in revenue year over year, and they saw an increase of about 20% in its total users. So that was pretty positive. They beat expectations, and it really led to a nice run up on their stock price. It actually had back-to-back days where it was over 15%. You can see that here. So we were actually trending down a little bit coming into earnings, and then we saw that nice gap up the next day, and then following that we saw another move on Wednesday. But then today we were down over 5.5%. We actually closed pretty weak, and it looks as if we could be starting to trend back down. So I just want to give my I guess idea here on Snapchat and where I think it'll move as we continue to finish out this week and then we move into next week. So usually with these big gaps to the upside, after a couple of days, it needs a little bit of time to breathe. And I think that might be what we're seeing here. We saw two back-to-back days where we were up 15% both days. And now we need a little bit of time to breathe. So I think this is going to come down and consolidate. Ideally, the level that I would like to see would be maybe down here in the lower 14s. Initially, that was the top that we saw, and then we saw this gap up, right? So down here in the 14s would be pretty nice. And you can also see we had some trading back here from early March. So we'll just throw in a level right in here, low 14s, around 1430 would be a nice level to pull back to. I think that would be healthy. That would be a lot of these gains that we saw diminish. But again, I think a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon here as Snap was running up, and it further accelerated the price. We can step this out a little bit and see some further price points. You can see back in here, there was a lot of trading here in the lower 14s. Another price point that I was looking at was right in here in the mid 15s. We can see as we were trading back down here late in August through September into October, we found this as being like a bit of a bottom was right in here, and then it acted as a top once we broke through that level, and then eventually we faded back down in more recent trading time. So we'll go ahead and throw it in right around 1580 as being a support. So that's a pretty close support in reference to where we are currently trading. So we can see today how we traded down about 6%. But again, we could also throw it in here for a more short-term support right around that $15 price point. So that gives you three nice levels of support on a more longer-term time frame. So right in here around 1580, then we're down here around 15, and then we're down here in the lower 14s around 1430. Now, if we want to look to the high side initially, I guess we'll stay here on this hourly chart. We can look and see that right where we had this top, right in these, we'll call it 17 flat as being a resistance. You can see that's where we closed. That's where we closed here on Wednesday, pre-market here on Thursday. We tried to pop up and then we sold back down. So we can call 17 being a nice resistance. That would be our first resistance level to get to. Now, if we pull this back out to a yearly time frame, we can kind of see that right in here in the upper 17s. I realize that I'm cutting off a couple wicks here, but again, I like to look more at the base of the candle more so than those wicks, because the wicks are usually momentum that kind of just swings the price above a level or below a level. So we'll look right in here, say around 1780. I want to scoot it down a little bit as being a resistance level. If this thing were to, say, come down here, bounce off of 1580, consolidate, and then start to trend back up, I do think that is a possibility that we could get up here into those upper 17s and maybe up to that $18 price point. From there, we could have that $19 price point as being a next resistance. Now, again, that's its 52-week high. So to see a move like that would be pretty impressive. I think we need to also consider market conditions if SPY is going to get up to that point. So if the market starts to sell off, I don't know if SPY necessarily has the momentum to drive it up to that price point no matter what its earnings are. But overall, I think SPY is looking pretty good. Again, I do think that it would be healthy to see it pull back a little bit more, even to this 15.80. Ideally, I'd like to see it down here closer to $15, and then the maybe even the lower 14s. That might be too much of a pullback. We might want to see buyers step in prior to that, but definitely a little bit more, maybe down here somewhere in the $15 range would be ideal. You can see the moving averages here on the daily chart are starting to level off and curve to the upside. We can also see that here on the 4-hour chart, that they have leveled off and have started to move to the upside again. But here, you know, we're overextended, so that $15 price point looks more and more appealing for SPY to move down, and then gather some support and then continue up, similar to what we've been seeing here as of recent, this stair-step pattern, really. So I hope this video was beneficial to you guys, maybe gave you a nice little overview of what Snapchat is looking like and another trader's perspective here on Snapchat. Again, it could continue to rally on and on, but I think that a pullback is in order, maybe even more than what we saw today. But I hope this video is helpful to you guys and maybe provides a little bit of insight into your trading strategy. If you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment on something else you would like to see me analyze. I'll catch you next time.